Hi everyone, it's Nadia and Jake. Today we're going to talk about The Long Walk, starring some pretty great actors.
Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, who is in Alien Romulus. Cooper Hoffman is famously the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman. I heard good things about it. This is based on the Stephen King novel, which I believe was written in 1979 under his pseudonym, which was Richard Bachman. Stephen King's publisher at the time was like, "You're writing too many books. We don't want to oversaturate the market, so why don't you write some of these books as a different name?" I actually was going to read it, and then I realized that we were seeing it this week, and I didn't have time. But yeah, what did you think?
Why do I always go first? No, actually, I do want to go first.
Okay.
I thought it was a solid...
You're rating right away? Interesting.
10 out of 10.
What?
I love this film.
What?
Yeah.
Poopy scenes and all?
I looked at... So, okay. Because if you've seen our video for
if I didn't warn you, I wonder. Okay.
I was annoyed at Jake for not warning me about, feces and just graphic scenes. So he told me before.
We say poopy scenes.
Poopy scenes, yeah. It was like, there's poopy scenes, but you'll get a head start when you know.
Violence and gore, you're like, whatever. But the poop.
That's right.
God forbid.
I don't want to see feces, real or
because there's a lot of violence in this.
Anyone else, but I looked down when those scenes were happening. But other than that, I really love this film. It's kind of interesting because I don't know why it reminded me a little bit of Hunger Games, except a little different. It's not like it's...
Well, guess what?
What?
The director, Francis Lawrence, he directed quite a few Hunger Games movies.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, because I was like, this is very much like Hunger Games, similar to.
This is like an early version of like a young adult dystopian, even though that category wasn't like a thing, wasn't like a marketing term back then. This is like an early version of basically the Hunger Games.
Well, I want to preface that by saying I've only seen the first Hunger Game. I haven't watched the rest. So I don't know how the rest of the films go.
Me too, I don't.
But, it reminded me of the first Hunger Game, which is the only Hunger Games that I've watched. The way that the world building of the story took place was amazing. Like, I like how it was very small, but then as the story went on, you could kind of see more and more into the world. I also like that you know that this is dystopian, but you kind of understand like what's happening. I mean, you still have to kind of take out a lot of other logic out of the story because I compared it to Hunger Games. Hunger Games, you could see like everything around. This movie, you see some flashbacks, but you really see them as what it has to do with the long walk.
It's very much contained within the premise itself. It's very like tight. Like you don't really leave the road very much. Do you want to explain the premise real quick?
Yes. So in this dystopian world,
it feels like the past, but I guess it's the future. It feels very 1950s. You don't see a lot of the world.
There's another world war that happened, and then,
Yeah, it's all very subtle. It's not very, like, explaining the world and building it out. It's very much contained to just these characters.
Yeah.
And I think that works in his favor.
Basically, they have lost a lot of productivity. The economy is really bad. And a way that they can get money is most people put in their name for this lottery. It's a lottery win where one person from each state gets picked to go on this long walk.
Not just people, it's young boys. It's like young teenage boys.
Exactly. Yeah. They get really rich if they win. And then a lot of times... Actually, every time they do this long walk, it inspires the nation and the productivity goes up. The winner gets a lot of money, gets one wish, and then the nation-wise, they get inspired with this long walk. Now, the con is that you walk until you're the last one standing, and anyone who fails at walking, they die.
You have to keep up a pace of 3 miles per hour.
And you have to keep up a pace 3 miles per hour, and you get 3 warnings before they kill you.
That's no stopping, no rest, no sleep, no
if you're not keeping up the pace, you're screwed. And as long as you don't go, well, you have some leeway, right? Like every 3 hours, if the warning gets wiped out after 3 warnings.
They did a screening of this. I don't know what studio made this movie, but they did a screening of it with treadmills all in the audience. So all these people who came to see the movie, they had to walk 3 miles the whole movie. And if they stopped, they were escorted out of the theater. No, but really, when I was actually picturing it, like it'd kind of be perfect way to watch the movie.
Yeah.
Because it gets very intense.
The movie is very graphic. It's pretty hard to watch for a lot of it. It's pretty heartbreaking. I could see this and at the end it's very satisfying. It's very like it's conclusive, but at the same time it's like, okay, you have a big hint of where things might go, but even if you don't know 100% what's going to happen after the film ends, you leave satisfied. There are other side characters whose demise are without reason, you know, because of the nature of what they're doing. It's like horrible, it's heartbreaking, it shouldn't happen. Because the main two characters, their conclusion is like, you can see a good reasoning behind it, you leave off, or at least I left off pretty satisfied, which is really nice.
I thought it was a huge bummer. I thought it was a super downbeat ending.
It is, but that's...
Which is, I was like...
That's basically, you know that's what's going to happen.
I wonder if it's accurate to the book. I wish I had read the book, but book readers, let me know, because I have heard that the ending of the book is devastating, and I thought the ending of this was quite
I wonder if
dark.
It's like the same. What changed? If you're a book reader, let me know. I thought the way it was directed, I thought like there's a major character who's the villain of the story, and I thought I really liked getting...
You know who
story.
played the Major, right? You know who played the Major?
Who?
Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. Like his story, like, although we don't see it's not about him. I like his role in the world, in this particular world being unfolded throughout the story as well. It really talks about will, but at the same time, like the idea of that we have these days about productivity. I can really see this world because we already have similar mindsets.
So you feel like it's still very relevant to today.
It was very relevant, and I feel like it's become more relevant than ever. I really related to it. It was a bummer, but I give it 10 out of 10 because I thought it was a great bummer.
Cool.
What about you? What would you rate it, first of all?
I feel like 10 out of 10 is a bit of an over... I mean...
Sure, I mean Jaws, but whatever.
Well, Jaws is perfect. Do you think this is
perfect?
Okay. I mean, I don't think it's perfect. I think there are some flaws, but I do think it's a very good movie. I think that it's really like a successful thriller.
And rating?
I would give it a 7.5.
This is total revenge from what I said about Jaws, isn't it? We did Jaws last week, and I feel like this is...
We have a different rating system. I don't know what to tell you. Like, to me, this is good. I can't rate everything, 10 out of 10 that I like.
What have you rated that's 10 out of 10 except for Jaws, really?
Because there's not a Jaws.
All right, this is not about Jaws,
okay.
So go...
I gave Sinners a 10 out of 10.
All right, well, I can see that.
The Long Walk is good. I mean, I feel like our culture has been so inundated with dystopian young adult fiction that the premise feels like, okay, that's it. But when you remember this is kind of the original, and I still think that the premise holds up very well. And I think because of the way that it's filmed and presented, it's very classical and simple. A lot of it is these long takes of the guys just, walking forward. Like, it's very simple, and I kind of respected how it was staged and framed. Like, we're just staying on the road with these boys, learning about them. Their group dynamics was great. I think it works and is sold so well because of the performances of Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson. David Johnson in particular was just
amazing,
fantastic, and their relationship was the core of this whole movie.
Cooper Hoffman the character reminded me of you so much.
Really?
Yeah, I was like crying a lot.
You were crying?
Well, I was like close to the tears for a lot, and I was crying in some part because it just reminded me of you.
Interesting.
I just was like, I can see you if you were in that situation.
I would bail.
Being very similar.
I'd just be like, this is way too much walking. My feet hurt.
Well, if you volunteered in this world, you would probably volunteer seeing the premise. Then I could see you. You're just minus your rating system, honey. You are pretty amazing.
Wow, that's sweet. You remind me of the David Johnson character. You're very tough.
Yeah, I feel like, well, I'm not as great as that guy, but yeah, I do push you like a lot and be like, okay, we gotta.
I do see a lot of our dynamic there in their friendship.
Are we brothers now?
I think. Were they? Okay, here's a question. Should we go into spoilers?
Let's get into spoilers.
Let's get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1,
1.
Spoilers. They were suggesting that David Johnson's character is gay, right?
I thought a little bit.
Because he was like, he was kept emphasizing, like, not a girlfriend. I don't have a girlfriend. You know, like, they emphasizing the girl part. So that's kind of what I took from it. I guess that just adds some depth to his character as well. We learned that he had a really rough upbringing and basically is like, I've always been on this long walk. You know, I've been walking this whole time. So it's like he doesn't seem to struggle as much as the others.
This is what's beautiful about it, right? What you were saying, just picking up off of that, is that he's talking about how he's always been a long walk. When his character survives because Ray, like, so Peter looks at Ray and is like just smiling, and I'm like, oh my God, something's gonna happen. And I think like he's been such positive character throughout this whole thing and really like a big brother that I think that he's going to be pushing him or doing something drastic, you know, like it's going to be a big turn where he's going to be a villain, like, and he's just going to be like, fuck you, this is all because you see
pushes you off I was waiting for someone to push another person off the road. I was like,
because everyone is like going a little crazy. They've gone over 300 miles and they are hallucinating. They're starting to lose themselves. So I wouldn't like be too surprised if that happened, because it's just like people are shooting themselves, stabbing themselves, like all these things instead of just getting shot in the head, which I feel like was less like there's this one guy who the villain, not villain, but like you think he's a villain. He stabs himself with a spoon or a fork or something like that and the neck.
There were some, this is part, I didn't really get into before the spoiler section, some of my complaints, but that's kind of one of it. Some of the violence was a bit egregious or just like goofy or over the top. Like there was like that spoon thing, just stabbing himself. I'm just like, okay, all right, Stephen King. And then there was another moment where this one kid is taunting this other kid and being a bully, and then he keeps punching him, and then he misses and he slides and his whole face scrapes across the pavement. I'm like, when people fall on the pavement, they're not usually just like scratching their whole face off. There was oil on the road. I was just like, okay, now you guys are just being like goofy with the violence. Like, let's try to keep it a little reined in.
Nonetheless, this is a dystopian world, so I don't really care that it doesn't seem realistic. I felt like it looked like, okay, if
that doesn't have to do with the real, I mean,
no, but it's just like, okay, I just took it as what it is. I didn't feel like it was like, I wasn't questioning it as much, because this whole thing, I was kind of like, all right, I'm in this thing, because it's really talking about like no mercy. One point where Ray is like, don't act like you don't want me dead and all those things, and he goes off because there's literally a gun near his head that makes him act like, you know, out of character, understandably. Their personalities stay the most even throughout the film, and it's really nice because you kind of see all these other characters changing. Some go from like really being an asshole to being really nice, like the guy who is like saying a lot of crappy things to other people and just bullying them, and then he apologizes right before his demise. These two characters, they're like good people throughout, but nonetheless it has to be one of them people. So I like that one try to sacrifice themselves for another, just a plot twist that it's like, no, you know, Ray's character says, you know, it should be you because you actually see hope, and that's the reasoning why he sacrificed himself, because if he lives, he feels like he's just going to be in the world of vengeance, like he doesn't know anything else and how to be like content. Whereas Peter, he's been in this long walk his whole life, and that's what I like as a wraparound, is that after he shoots the major, he still goes walking. He still keeps walking, even though he's been walking for a while, like showing that he's going to keep going and he's going to stay positive, and that's really like he stays true to character. So it gives... Is
he going to stay positive? I took that as he's going to just
not wandering. Necessarily keep positive as in like he's not going to have down moments, but he's going to keep going. Like he doesn't see where he's not going to give up.
I saw it as very dark, as just like...
Wow.
Yeah, because they're talking about it and they're framing it very much as love versus hate. He's trying to tell Cooper Hoffman's character, like, you shouldn't try to kill the major at the end, which is his plan. It's like, you shouldn't try to do that. You just take the money, accept love, you know, and forgiveness. And Cooper Hoffman is like the principled one. He's like, no, this is wrong. I need, you know, vengeance. This whole system is wrong and bad. Ultimately, David Johnson, they kind of like, they rub off on each other and they get a little bit, and he ends up killing the major at the end, which I knew would happen, which is, I think it's you have to do that. Once you even suggest doing that, it's like, oh my God, you have to do that. You have to do that.
it's really like, I don't see it as that much of a negativity or like out of character, because it's really, he's going through this walk.
I'm not saying it's out of character. I think
but he sees, like, he, you know, says everyone is watching. The Major keeps saying that because he hesitates and he's like, do I want to do this? I'm going to do this not as a way for vengeance, but because I want this long walk to end. Like, I want this inhumane event to end. That's the way I saw it. No matter what happens to me, like if they take away my wealth or don't, because Ray says, like, we don't know, that's an uncharted territory. We don't know if they're gonna like let them keep the wealth or let them stay alive, you know, because they're the winner. It's an uncharted territory. I'm glad that it doesn't show into like, okay, he stays wealth or he gets wealth, he gets all this stuff. I like that he just keeps walking because he's like, I'm gonna be okay either or, because I'm living my life with my belief system and not through, I'm still going through love.
I disagree completely.
I feel like it was through love of Raymond that he did what he did.
He does say it out loud. He says, "This is for Raymond." I just don't see it as a particularly.
I mean, I see your point. I see where you're coming from, but you know, I just saw it differently, I suppose. What do you think about like when the guy who's an asshole repents? You know, he's like, no, I didn't kill that guy. You can kind of see that. But I thought he was the one who might be winning.
I think it's good. I mean, in essence, when you think about it, it's really like a bottle episode of a TV show. Just all these characters stuck together, and then they're being picked off one by one because of, you know, struggling because of their character flaws. Maybe that's why they get killed, or they're just not as strong. Really, I mean, the reason why the Raymond and the other guy make it so far is because they have each other to rely on. They're literally sleeping and walking. Like, the extent of the struggle is illustrated very well. A successful, like, it's just a good premise, and I think that there's good natural chemistry that's played off with these kids, and it's never boring. It's pretty short. This is stuff I should have said before spoilers, but we got jumpy. Visually, it's kind of flat in the daytime scenes. That was something that kind of annoyed me, that it felt very like gray and flat. The nighttime scenes I thought was a little bit more like visually dynamic, but it's like it's well done. Like,
I like the flatness of it because it keeps the tone the same, which is that this is how the world is. It's like consistently not changing.
You're getting so much more out of this film than I am, and I'm glad. I mean, it connected with me, and I connected with it, and I think it's a good movie. But I also felt kind of like, yeah, it's like dystopian thriller. Like, there was nothing that spectacular about it, but you know, I'm seeing it differently through your eyes. Some of the dialogue was cringy, especially in the beginning. Some of the music I thought was overbearing and took me out of the film. I think it could have been a bit more subtle, and the violence was excessive, in my opinion. So
I didn't feel any such thing with the asterisk sign that I'm gonna put. You know, I didn't see the poopy scene, so maybe I would have felt it excessive and maybe would have gone to 9.5, but I looked away from the poopy scenes thanks to your warning about that. So
I mean, they have to shit walking, so it's kind of
yeah, but it could have been off screen. But I also,
you got people dying because they can't, you know, wrap it up fast enough to keep moving.
I feel like that's like horrible.
It's pretty horrific. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think. We'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.